Previously on Balls.
Glyn Binkin. On a day that most agents are having nervous breakdowns. Glyn Binkin, are you there?
I'm all calm and composed, Neal.
Glyn Binkin. Glyn, I went to a funeral this week with loads of Arcadia and Brea Park players. Do you remember those days, mate?
Yeah. Who passed away?
Charlie Smalley was there. There was a guy called Trevor Hopf, an advocate, passed away this week.
Yeah.
But Charlie Smalley was there.
Good old days.
A couple of the lads that used to play in those old sides and going through that transition into what we have now, the PSL, was very, very interesting, I think, for you and I at that time.
Very, very different days to today, yeah?
Yeah, except for Deshi Backtower. Deshi was always able to play in any football in this country and no one ever minded. Always shocked by that. And Vincent Julius was the other one, wasn't he? Great lad. Glyn, I've got to talk to you. You know that everyone's talking about you because you have such a major role to play in some of the big moves in this country. I guess I really need to know, first of all, with Katlego and Mpela, what do you think will happen with to Kaiser Chiefs, to Stuart Baxter, who's always admired him? What do you think the next couple of days will bring?
Okay, well, the reality of the situation is that he will be a Kaiser Chiefs player from the 1st of July. But up until that time, he is contracted to Mamelodi Sundowns, and as such, they control his immediate destiny. Whether or not they will allow him to go to Kaiser Chiefs, I'm not entirely sure. But I do believe and do hope that in the interest of the player and the future of the player's career, that they will allow him to go. Whether or not that is to Kaiser Chiefs, I'm not entirely convinced or sure at this stage.
What interests me, Glyn, unlike some of the European deals that I've done for years and years, writing for the Mirror and the Mail and the Standard and all that, when a player signs a pre-contract, he just carries on playing for his own club. He gets paid, he scores goals, or he defends goals or saves goals. Yeah. And it just carries on like normal when a pre-contract is signed. But as far as I can see, for both Mpela and Majoro, since they've signed these pre-contracts or made clear their options at the end of their contracts in 6 months, both of them have been bombed out by their own side. So it almost seems pointless that they would stay for another 6 months.
No, I agree with you entirely, Neal. I think the primary difference between that situation and for example, Robert Lewandowski, who signed a pre-contract from Borussia Dortmund to Bayern Munich, is that Lewandowski plays every week. Majoro and Mpela over the last 6 months or last 12 months haven't been regulars in their team. So Lewandowski does. He gets back to training every day. He plays every game. He scores every week. That's the reality of the situation with him.
Yes.
Whereas Mpela and Majoro hadn't been in regular game time at their clubs. I assume if they were playing regularly for the clubs, even though they had signed pre-contracts at the clubs, would have continued to utilize their players because ultimately it would have been a benefit to their existing clubs. But given the fact that they haven't been playing, and as I say, I can't really comment on the majority because I don't represent him. But in Katlego's case, I'd like to see a situation where he is allowed to go out and play his football. First prize obviously would be to go and play for Kaiser Chiefs, and I'm hopeful that something can still be done in that respect. But if it's not Kaiser Chiefs, that Sundowns, that sanity prevails and Sundowns allow him to go play elsewhere. Because as I said, it's not as if he's playing over there. If he was playing regularly in week out, I would say keep him there and let him play and let him help Sundowns try win the league. Yeah. But if that's not the case and he hasn't been playing, then hopefully that he will be allowed to go out and play elsewhere. But at the end of the day, it's Sundowns' decision. The situation rests with them.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. That's what worries me, is that these two, top South African players in a country where striking power isn't one of our strengths, getting lots of goals like Mpela and Majoro have done in their careers is something that we need in South Africa. So to leave two guys languishing on the bench, no matter what they're paid or what they miss out on or what they gain, it just seems like a waste of talent to me. What I do like about the Mpela situation is a symmetry here. Stuart Baxter, right the way back to when he was Bafana manager, always let it be known that there was a lad somewhere in South Africa who was at Strasbourg for a while. Yeah. What's his name? He used to say, that's it, Killer Mpela. He'd say, I like him. And I remember at various places as Stuart Baxter moved around the world between Bafana and coming back to Chiefs, he always liked Killer Mpela. And ever since, the Sundowns thing has happened and they've had Cuthbert Malajila and Mashekwi and all them around at Sundowns, some good strikers, I've always wondered if Mpela will go back to Chiefs. Do you think Mpela and Kaiser Chiefs is a match made in heaven?
Yeah, I mean, I think a fantastic time whilst at Sundowns. Obviously, he's had a couple of injuries over the past couple of seasons, which have curtailed his game time, but he was very happy over there and obviously just wants to play, as every footballer does, and still today just wants to play football at the end of the day. But the relationship with Stuart has always been pretty strong. Stuart was the coach who first gave him his if I'm not mistaken, against Mauritius a number of years ago. And he's always been a great admirer of the coach. And when the opportunity arose, there were a number of opportunities. I think I've spoken to you early on in the transfer window. There were a number of opportunities that existed in terms of the player. But at the end of the day, that was the opportunity that was most exciting for him, was the opportunity to reunite with Stuart Baxter at arguably the biggest club in the country, and hopefully get back to doing what he does best, and to score goals.
Absolutely. Now Glyn, you see Glyn Mpela. He had a knee operation a while ago. We were a bit worried about his fitness for a while at Sundowns. Can you assure us that he's fit, raring to go, not carrying extra weight, that kind of thing? Is he right up for it?
Very much so. I mean, he has been training with an incident. Obviously, we stayed away from training for a couple of days, which I condone in the strongest sense. I didn't believe it was the right thing for the player to do, and at no time did I ever tell him that's what he should be doing. Yes. Because at the end of the day, he needs to go out and keep fit and keep training, as difficult as it may be. So subsequent to that, he's had no problems. He has been training with the club, although I think he has the past couple of days been training by himself. But as long as he's training and he is keeping fit, I saw him during the course of the week, and he's looking in good shape and raring to go, whatever the next 6 months or next 5 months will present with him.
Okay, let's just get that clear. So he did the training with Masundawana after they came back from their Zambia tour, but he's now training on his own.
As far as I believe, yeah.
Who would he train with? Is there a lad in Pretoria you go to somewhere down at Amatux and he'll get you out, put up a goal and make you hit 53 balls on the back of the net? Is that how it works?
I mean, Sundowns have got a big technical team, and there is a coach that's been earmarked to train the players and to work with the players on a day-to-day basis. It's not an ideal situation because you're not training with the team in a competitive environment, but at the end of the day, he understands, and that's one of the pitfalls of signing a pre-contract. That's the relative situation, especially for a player who hasn't been playing regularly. But as I say, hopefully within the next 24 hours, the window closes tomorrow evening. Hopefully in the next 24 hours, he'll be allowed to move on.
Mate, that's great stuff. Glyn, are there any other little moves that you're allowed to just hint about? You can just give me initials and that, and I'll start Googling frantically. Anyone else we can look at?
As I sit here speaking to you, I've worked on a list of the last couple of days of 10 potential moves that may or may not happen over this window, and they call it silly season for that very reason. I think it depends, these types of moves. I mean, one of the moves that I'm looking at, unfortunately can't mention names, but relies on one club moving a player, in which case potentially 3 or 4 moves may evolve as a result of that. And I think it's similar in Europe at the moment. I think the smaller clubs are waiting for a big club to go and buy a player and put a bit of money into circulation, and then a frantic scramble ensues. And I think that's going to be a similar situation. One thing which is very exciting, which none of the media has picked up on because we've actually kept it quiet over the last couple of days, is that the late Karen Jordan's son, Liam Jordan, is currently training with Bidvest's 15-year-old
Eddie Stone's stepson.
Correct.
That's amazing. So, okay,
Liam,
go on. Tell me.
So Liam is a 15-year-old, extremely talented young player, and I was close to Karen over the years. And when Karen, before he passed away, he'd obviously come out to South Africa, and I met with him and the family, and he'd asked me to, he told me about this talented son of his who I hadn't seen at the time, and spoke very highly of the boy, and always joked that the boy would be a better player than him. Perhaps it wasn't a joke, but always told me that the boy was going to be a better player than him. And he's a 15-year-old boy, and obviously the family support structure is far better for them in South Africa. So I've been in touch with the mom and the boy over the past couple of months since Karen passed away, and I facilitated an opportunity for him to come and train with Wits University and with Bidvest Wits, and he started off training with the youth sides of the club over the sort of first day, and subsequent to that was on Monday, and already on Tuesday he was training with Gavin's side, and obviously he's only 15, and I've got no expectations. In fact, there's never an expectation that he'd even be training with the first side. But it's very exciting the fact that Gavin has given the opportunity, and I applaud Gavin for giving the boy the opportunity just to train with the first side, and he's done very, very well. And I'm not saying he's going to come and sign with the first side, but the likelihood is very good that he will come and sign and play with us. He's obviously still at school and still at schooling, which is very important. But he's a very exciting prospect and a huge talent, and hopefully the boy can continue to honour the memory of his late father.
Yeah, exactly. Just to fill in anyone that doesn't know the story, Karen Jordan, I guess you'd call him a Chwani boy, went over. Played for Bafana, went over to New Zealand, sadly died a few months ago, but his son, his 15-year-old son, as I understand it, was at Auckland Blues, do they call them? No.
Yeah, Auckland. And in fact made his professional debut for Auckland City just a week ago.
At the age of 15. That's not bad, is it, mate?
And Auckland City is the top team in New Zealand, and the team that's represented Oceania in the World Club Championships in December in Morocco. He wasn't part of that squad, obviously, because he was
too young.
Still finishing school. But he made his professional debut last week, and things have happened pretty quickly for him. So he's, as I say, in South Africa at the moment, and the likelihood is that he will continue to stay in South Africa and do his schooling, but he'll be under the Bidvest structures.
So Gavin Hunt, next time I play golf with Gavin, we got to say to him, well, how's this Liam Jordan lad? Brilliant, mate. That's lovely, because Eddie was one of my coaches, his stepdad, years ago. It's brilliant that we've picked up on that. So you're telling me he did a couple of training sessions with Bidvest Wits Academy and then moved up to the first team with Gavin?
He did one training session with Bidvest Youth, and has subsequently trained twice with the...
What is he, a midfielder, striker?
He's an attacking midfielder.
Yeah, that's right. There's been a few conversations flying around the Schwani football circles about Keren's son. He's now here. He's now at Bidvest Wits. He may sign. Brilliant job, Glyn. That's very interesting. That's very exciting, and I'm glad to hear that. Glyn, you said to me just now, just to finish this conversation, you've got 10 moves written down that could yet happen before the transfer window closes. When it does happen, give us a call.
Yeah, definitely.
And Glyn, good luck with the Killer Impella thing. I just want to see Killer Impella playing. Comfort, my producer Glyn wants to have a quick word.
One last important question. Is it Katlego Mpila or Katlego Mpela?
Impella.
I bloody hope so. I haven't said Impela all my life, even as an English journalist.
No, since everybody's changing their surnames, so I just wanted to make
make
sure that we have. Yeah.
Oh my word. Okay, well, good. Glyn, listen, thanks on such a busy day for having a chat with us here at Bollocks. Best of luck with Impala. Best of luck with those other 10 deals, and let's wish the best of luck to 15-year-old Liam Jordan as he starts his career at Bidvest Wits. Hopefully, we'll see more of him, just like we saw of his dad playing for Bafana. Thank you, Glyn Binkin.
Thank you very much, Neal. Thanks for the support.
Great stuff, mate.
Visual radio. Radio like you've never seen it before. Balls.co.za